All right, here we go. How you all doing? Good to be back with another live stream. The second one in less than 24 hours. The last live stream ended up going for like 3 hours. So that was a pretty good one. And yeah, we've got some even better price action to go through with you all today. So let me know how the audio and video is. Smash up those likes as we're coming in. You guys did amazingly in the last video. Thank you all so much for all of that amazing support. Bitcoin's in a little bit of a dump right now, so I want to be giving you guys all of my thoughts on this price action today. Where I think we're going to go. Are we going to get a big crash? Are we going to be retesting support? Are we going to be blasting off straight towards 70,000 and beyond? What's going to be happening here? Are we perhaps just going to trade sideways in a little bit of consolidation and then, perhaps make another move? So there's a lot to talk about right here. And definitely a very exciting time to be in the market. I'm not sure how long I have for this video because Chris, Crypto, and Crypto Mo are throwing a party here in Dubai, which they've invited me to, which is very cool because they're also invited to my party tomorrow. So I don't know how long we're going to be on this live stream for today, but here we are. So you guys are telling me that it's all okay. Thank you very much. Let's get straight into it. Don't want to waste any more time. Let me just summarize for you what has happened here. So we're seeing something in this market right now where Bitcoin ended up consolidating under the previous all-time high, and I was telling you guys in the previous live stream that it's probably only a matter of hours until we kind of break up, just given that this was probably a bull flag. So that ended up happening. There was many things we could have done, perhaps came down to test old resistance right here as a new support and then bounce back up, but we ended up doing what I think was just generally most likely, is just consolidating before the all-time high and then breaking back up. And you think the party has already started? Me too, man, me too. It's a good time to be a trader. Definitely a nice time to be in these markets at the minute. Fear and greed, by the way, just worth pointing out, was at 82 yesterday, so it's going to be through the bloody roof today. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a reading like 90. Why am I not streaming from the party? Well, the party hasn't started yet. But yeah, the reading is at 82. It's probably, I would imagine, like be above 90 today. So we'll see how that goes. Although I'm only going to see this in 9 hours, and I probably won't be awake for that. But what we're seeing with the price just at the minute, why am I? Yeah, okay. So I'll cover those questions later. But what I'm seeing with the price just at a minute is that we kind of consolidated and we exploded right through the all-time high level, which was this yellow line. And very interestingly, you guys were asking me about the 1% rule and the 3% rule in terms of breakouts. And so we managed to pump 1% above the previous all-time high fairly easily, but pumping above 3% was a little bit of a problem right here for Bitcoin. You can see that we did hit a 3% breakout above the previous all-time high, but we didn't manage to sustain that. And so we actually, technically, we faked out at the moment. It's interesting to see that we hit a 3% breakout, but only just, and now we're in a little bit of a drop. And if we zoom in and take a closer look at this, we can really start to see what this looks like, right? In terms of a confirmed breakout, this one was very clear. And not only did we get the breakout, we also kind of came back down to kind of nearly backtest that same level. If I show this to you on the 1 minute time frame like an absolute degenerate, take a look at this. Bitcoin exploded above the all-time high right here at 64.9, rose all the way up to 66,000 in one straight move. Is this 66? Yeah, it is. Went all the way up to 66 in one straight move. And then fell right back down to 65. So that was a nice little back test there. Really, and just to put this, just to explain to you a little bit about what this kind of price action means, is this could have easily been a real fake out for the market where we ended up going up and then just got sent right back down and, potentially even entered a bear market for many years. I mean, anything is possible. And so the fact that we recovered this and then immediately traded back up is a really important sign. Because one of the key things that you guys will have heard me talking about on this YouTube channel for quite a while, and as you are coming in, guys, smash up those likes because this is an absolutely amazing day. If you're in a good mood, if you're enjoying these live streams and finding them useful, then you know exactly what to do. But one of the key things that you will have heard if you've been watching this channel for just a little while, not even too long, those of you who are subscribed, you will remember that I've been recently talking about how when we make a big move in the market, the best time, or in other words, the most likely time for us to reverse that price action, i.e. if we go up, the best time for us to drop back down, I'm sorry, not the best time, the most likely time for us to drop back down is immediately after the move up, which is basically another way of me saying that we have a higher likelihood of reversing price action immediately after the price action happens. The more hours and days we wait, the less the likelihood of a reversal becomes in my opinion, just going off general technical analysis and actually going off, I mean, fairly common, just strategies in all sorts. I mean, like I've even given you guys the analogy of hostage negotiations, where shout out to Ricky Taylor, thank you for hitting the likes. I've even given you guys the example of hostage negotiations, where if you don't manage to free a hostage within the first 72 hours, generally you will hear, if you read military books, or if you've heard about the strategies that hostage negotiators use, is if you can't get them back within 72 hours, the chances of you ever getting them back usually drop down quite a bit. And it's just, I mean, look, it's not related, but it's an interesting fact anyway. And so what's absolutely great is that Bitcoin didn't get that reversal. We did try, the bears did try, they couldn't keep it, and now the prices continue to move up as expected. The reason that we're seeing the price continuing to move up, you guys will know this if you were watching my previous live stream, other than the obvious, buying pressure spike, the biggest thing really, in my opinion right now, is that nobody will want to sell. These were the last minute sellers right here that were taking profits on their Bitcoin because they saw Bitcoin trading very close to its previous all-time high. But as soon as we passed that all-time high, there's just not many more people left in the market who want to sell their Bitcoin anymore, because they're really excited. They're very, very happy. They're feeling very greedy, as is evident by this. And obviously, ladies and gents, when people are feeling very greedy, the market does tend to show us big moves like this, where nobody just wants to sell. Absolutely nobody wants to sell. So this is definitely making a lot of sense right here. I mean, as soon as we break that all-time high, why would you want to sell, right? It doesn't really make any sense. And so if we take a look at this on the 1 hour time frame, which is what we're on right now, the first hour we nearly went up to that all-time high. The second hour we broke above. The third hour we stayed above, and this is the most important candle in my opinion. This could have been a nasty reversal candle, but it wasn't, and we continue to make moves to the upside. And just now at the minute, we're only about halfway into this 1 hour candle, and we are having a small pullback just now. So this can easily turn into a little bit of a bull flag before moving up, in my opinion. That would definitely make a lot of sense. Usually I would say that actually I would be expecting short continuation patterns and then quick explosions upwards. I do expect that right now, but obviously you guys know my thoughts very well. We haven't really had any corrections on this trend so far. However, don't be surprised if this largely goes vertical right now, purely because we have broken that resistance. There is no more technical resistance on this chart, other than if you're throwing on Fibonacci extensions and stuff like that. There's just no more resistance on this chart, so we're only really going off psychological areas of resistance, where people are going to be seeing round numbers and thinking, okay, this is probably a good time to sell, this is probably a good time to be taking some profits, and so on. And so I would only really be expecting that up at $70,000 right here, which is a nice little way away. Definitely not too bad at all with what I'm seeing in the market right here. So that looks very, very cool. Thank you all for hitting up the likes, by the way. We've got 600 people in this live stream, so if you are enjoying this so far, you know exactly what to do. Like I said, we are in a little bit of a pullback right now. I want to talk to you about the worst case scenario, because I think it's very important, and nobody wants to entertain these kind of ideas, which is exactly why I have to put it right in front of your face to make you acknowledge what reality could look like. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but you definitely should be prepared for it, and you definitely should know what can happen. And so, the key thing for me is I would love to see a back test of this real all-time high level right here. We didn't quite get it on the 1 minute time frame. If we look at this, we didn't actually fall as low, and realistically the back tests are much more significant if they happen after time. So that could be if it happens today, or if it happens next week, or if it happens in a month from now. But a back test of this level would be absolutely phenomenal. And I actually think that there's a pretty good chance we can get it. The reason for that is, if you watched my previous live stream, you're going to remember what I was talking about in that live stream. Now, if you missed it for some reason, or you didn't manage to catch it, or you just didn't watch the replay and stuff like that, it could be because you're not subscribed. A lot of you watch this channel regularly, but you haven't clicked the subscribe button yet, purely because you've forgotten or something. You just haven't even realized it. So definitely make sure that you do click it so that you don't miss out on this content, because it is very hot and it's worth catching as well at times like this, obviously. But the key thing that I want to draw to your attention right now is that Bitcoin, for example, right here, managed to set an all-time high up here at $1,800. Now, we're all the way back in May of 2017, so we are 4.5 years ago right now. Bloody hell, that makes me feel old. Anyway, we set the all-time high right here at $1,900, and we can see very nicely where we managed to rise above, and look, we get that back test right here, right? So it's a couple days after breaking above the all-time high, we get the back test, and I'm going to show you quite a few examples of this to really drive this point home right now, to give you guys a very clear explanation of a very clear idea of what this might look like. Look, we set another all-time high right here at $2,974, and take a look at what happened. So we end up entering a small bearish trend, and bam, look at where we bounce from. Right here, we bounce off this previous all-time high level, which we already confirmed as support. We reconfirm it as support, and then we've never been down that low again ever since that point. I've been smoking the reefer. Absolutely not, mate. Nothing. Just loaded up on caffeine, to be honest. But here we go. We start to move up. We finally get the breakout above $3,000, and then take a look at what happens a month later, 40 days later. Bam, right there. So again, we set the all-time high right here at $3,000. We managed to rise above it, and we come right back down for another test. And in both occasions, it's taken about a month, right? We set the all-time high here, we come back to test it 67 days later. That's actually a lot more than a month, and 96 days here. I don't know why I said 1 month, but it is quite a significant time. Oh, you know what I meant is actually the breakout time, right? It's from when Bitcoin originally got the breakout. This was 60 days, and from here, this was 40 days. So, this is definitely showing us that from the time of breaking, there can be a significant time period between when we next test these areas of old resistance turning into new support. We set a new all-time high up here at just under $5,000, and take a look at this. We break above, and it's so consistent, absolutely stunning. Very, very realistic, healthy price action right here. We end up coming down to test it again with this wick just a couple days after breaking out. Not long, this was 12th of October. We come back down to test it 6 days later on the 18th. Then we set another all-time high right here at 6.1, and you're really understanding the picture now. We come back down, penetrate the same level of old resistance to find new support here, and carry on. So you guys have definitely got the picture already. Now, that's what we generally tend to see when we break all-time highs in bull markets. We do get these back tests, so definitely look out for it in this market right now. We might not get it soon. Generally, we don't get it super quickly, but it is entirely possible that we will get it eventually. That is something that you should definitely be keeping on your radar, just in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not your financial advisor, but that is what I'm seeing right there. And this could mean that we rally up to beautiful levels like 100,000, and then come right back down to kiss this area of support, as new support, and then carry on bouncing back up. And the reason that that's so important for these markets is that, when we are getting these back tests of old areas of resistance, or in this case all-time highs, and reconfirming them as areas of support, that's essentially showing us that the bears have tried to drive the market lower. They've tried to buy Bitcoin at lower levels. People wanted to buy Bitcoin at lower levels. The price was crashing down. There was no buyer support until we hit that all-time high, and actually it reconfirms for us, and this is the key point, is it reconfirms for us that the bulls are still in control. The bulls are still willing to buy previous very, very important areas in the market, which is just a sign of strength. It shows us that these bulls have strength, and of course, when the bears can see that the bulls are stepping in to defend key levels like all-time highs, they may stop selling, because people will start becoming a little bit more bullish again. It just makes perfect sense from a technical perspective, so that's why we tend to see these things happening. So again, definitely not something we're going to see, that I would expect to see right now, but something to keep on your radar for the weeks and months to come, for sure. Definitely would not be surprising if we came back down to this level, no matter what happens from here. From here, the key thing is we have just broken this all-time high. There's a little bit of euphoria, as you can imagine, and generally when we've had such a big time gap between setting an all-time high and breaking the all-time high, and in this case it was 6 months within a largely bullish market, and you have a time gap like this of, in this case it was 189 days roughly, we will generally just fly up as soon as we break that all-time high, purely because we've had such a good correction, and overall it was a pretty good correction. Ideally I would have liked to see this trend correcting more. You guys know my thoughts very, very well on that, but we did end up, just broadly, if we look at this, for example, on the weekly time frame, we did end up getting a pretty nice period of being in a bear market right here and then recovering back up. On the whole, recovering back up slowly than when we first attacked these levels. So that's also good. Not a whole lot more slowly. So it is a really, really weird market to be in at the minute. But nonetheless, because we haven't been to these levels for 6 months, I do have to expect that Bitcoin can rapidly explode to the upside. And really, I mean, there's just not much of a way that I can tell you how far this is going to go. I mean, a lot of this is just down to excitement now. It's down to when fat-fingered sellers decide they want to sell their Bitcoins and different things like that. That's when we can start to expect a little bit of resistance. But one of the key tools that you can use, which has become very trendy on YouTube these days, since we've started talking about it, and I think we were first to it, which is pretty cool as well, is this beautiful EMA ribbon. So now those of you who don't know about this EMA ribbon, please do pause the live stream right now. You're not gonna understand this unless you watch this video right here, where you type this into the YouTube search bar and watch my video that comes up teaching you how to get this indicator and how to use it. But this does generally indicate where we can start to find a little bit of support right here on the 4-hour time frame, and it's so reliable. We had a fake out right here, but generally when the price falls into this ribbon, we can expect the price to bounce very nicely. And of course, we've seen this happen quite consistently across the market. So this is literally just one of 2 indicators that I've been using religiously for many years now. And those of you who've been watching this YouTube channel for a while, those of you who are inside of VIP, you'll know that my trading strategy has not changed. My analysis strategy has not changed at all for multiple years, and it still stayed so solid, where we've been expecting nearly every single move. We might not have traded every single move, of course. I don't have to trade everything. I'm not desperate to trade. That's the key reason I don't lose money in these markets. But I'm absolutely aware of what's going on and prepared for these kind of moves generally. I mean, of course, sometimes I get taken off guard. For example, this dump really caught me off guard. It's going to happen, but generally these moves will be anticipated in these markets, and that's just because my analysis style has stayed the same, and it's so solid. So those of you who want to learn a little bit more about it and really get involved in what we're doing, then like I said yesterday, I mean, the best time to learn this was yesterday. The best time to learn this was 2 days ago. We really are out of time. This is where the money is being made. We've seen some beautiful profits in VIP today. I'm in some beautiful profits on my positions right now as well. I wasn't talking about them publicly because they were shared inside of VIP, but one of my key positions was Cardano. Of course, I have a Bitcoin position open as well, so in some very nice profits on those 2 coins just at the minute. They're not as big as I want them to be yet, but they are still nice profits nonetheless. And the key thing with this thing about learning my strategy, my analysis and trading strategy that I was discussing with you guys just a minute ago, is that I break this all down for you in my advanced trading course, which many of you who join /VIP will be getting completely free of charge. So definitely check it out. Modules organized very well, super simple to navigate. Even there's a reason I highlighted this testimonial specifically, is that this person was a teacher and still enjoys this, which is great for me, because I actually dropped out of school. So to get a compliment like this from a teacher really tells me that I've done quite well. So that was very nice to see. And then some profits from somebody a little while back in similar price ranges, making 160% profit after dialing down leverage. So some really nice winners in this market right now. And if you do want to join VIP and see how these people have been able to pull off these profits and really learn how I trade and analyze from start to finish in this very clean, clinical way where emotions just really can't get involved, and by extension your results are just so consistently predictable, then these are the steps on screen. And if you are wondering where I've traded these things, how these VIP members have been able to pull beautiful profits, it is happening on Bybit for me, with the link in the description. When you sign up to it and make your first deposit, you're going to get an extra deposit reward into your account. Let me rephrase that. When you make your first deposit, you're going to get some extra cash deposited into your account for free as a reward for signing up using my link in the description. So definitely do check this out if you want that free cash, because free cash is never a bad thing. So guys, as I go on now, please do start dropping your questions in here, but I want to take a look at Ethereum while I'm here with you guys. If you were watching yesterday's live stream, you'll remember that I was very bullish on Ethereum yesterday, much more than Bitcoin. So no surprise now that Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is, I mean, it's not outperforming it by much, but it is by a little bit. Bitcoin's up by 3.7%. Ethereum is up by 4.5%. So this is, you know, compared to how much Bitcoin is up, Ethereum is outperforming it by, I don't know, like 25%. Like it's doing 25% better than Bitcoin. But of course, just in terms of raw numbers against the dollar, it is only performing about 0.5% better than Bitcoin, which is still absolutely great. The reason I was more bullish on Ethereum than Bitcoin was purely because Bitcoin was not getting corrections, but Ethereum was. Ethereum entered a really nice falling wedge pattern right here, where it ended up breaking out while we were live. Ethereum got the breakout, which was very, very cool, literally during the live stream last night. That was very, very fun. And then Ethereum ended up continuing on trading upwards and now has broken $4,000, which is absolutely fantastic. So those of you will remember that way back over here was when I had sold half of my Ethereum back into Bitcoin, which was obviously the best time to sell my Ethereum. It was an absolutely perfectly timed move in this market. Those of you who have been around since then, you'll know very well that one of the key things I try to do is protect myself from losses, because a lot of people don't understand in these markets that if you lose money when we've just had euphoric runs like this, you're going to be in a worse position than when you started, both financially and worse mentally. You're going to feel like shit if you've lost a lot of your money. So that's why I try to really protect myself from those kind of things, because feeling terrible is not conducive to having a winner's mindset in these markets. And so that is definitely something which I really fight to keep, or get back, you know, if I've lost it, because obviously I don't always have it. I am human as well, and sometimes these markets can hit me down just as much as they hit the next guy, but one of the key ways I'm able to eliminate those risks and really avoid them is by making sure that I sell my things at the right times. And so that's why you've seen me selling my Ethereum back there. I've rebought it back at much lower levels, so I'm very, very happy with how that's moving at the minute. Again, all of these moves, by the way, have gone inside of VIP. I just haven't talked about them publicly because I saved that stuff for VIPs first, and then I tell you guys about the results afterwards. Whether it's a win or a loss, I do still tell you guys about it. It's just obviously right now it's hard to lose money, so you're not going to be hearing many of those losses, I don't think. I hope not. Anyway, so there we go. We are now challenging that all-time high for Ethereum. The key thing to take note of right now is that Bitcoin is above its previous all-time high, and above it by a fair bit. It's above by about $2,000, which is, I don't know, like 3%. I mean, just under 3%. So it's a pretty good, pretty nice move right here that Bitcoin has made, whereas Ethereum, if we look at its all-time high, it hasn't even reached its all-time high yet. And so Ethereum, I think, has more room to move at the minute. You know, I think Ethereum will only do as well as Bitcoin, if not better. I don't think that we're there yet, so there is still a little bit of time left. But you know, this is definitely something to keep in mind, where when if Ethereum does break its all-time high, because of course nothing is guaranteed, but if Ethereum does break its all-time high, this could definitely be something that's very, very exciting for this market. That's going to indicate you know, a big explosion right here. So I've been warning you guys about this already. You know, if you haven't heard my warnings yet, then here you go. Here's the next one. You know, this is something very, very important that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on. Ethereum's only got about a 10% move until it reaches that all-time high, and I think it really, I mean, it can rally a lot harder than Bitcoin, in my opinion. It might take a little bit of time. I mean, it's not, you know, it might not happen today, it might not happen tomorrow, or you know, even in the next week, but you know, definitely within a month or two max, I'm looking at a big explosion, you know, with Ethereum, and I do think that that's going to move back to the rest of the altcoin market as well, which is pretty cool. So I will talk about these shortly as well with you guys in this live stream, but I am ready to start going through some of your questions. I am here for pretty much as long as you guys are, but we do need to smash those likes up. So if you are finding this live stream useful so far, if you found it useful to hear about how I was so bullish on Ethereum just last night, and now seeing that it's performing better than Bitcoin, and you think that's cool, if you're finding these videos generally useful and inspiring, then please do help me out with your clicks. Those likes, they do help with the algorithm. If you haven't already subscribed, that's going to help both of us as well. So definitely do go ahead and do that. You know, I have to make these calls to actions, but hopefully you guys are completely okay with that for this amazing free content. So thank you all very much for hitting up those likes. We are now at 300. You guys know the deal. We got to hit 1,000. I'm sure we can do it relatively soon. We did it fairly quickly yesterday. If you do have questions, please bear in mind that you have to actually write my name at Sammy Loyal in your comment. Otherwise, I'm not going to see it. And obviously, if I can't see your comment, I can't answer it. So please do make sure to do that as well. when you are asking your questions. Thank you very much. Sticks and Stones asking everyone to smash the likes. When do I expect a pullback? Well, this is the thing, is it's very unpredictable. You know, there's almost no way to be able to tell when we might get a pullback, purely because you know, there's no resistance levels right now. So we are finding a little bit of resistance right. Here's the thing, is we're finding a little bit of resistance right here at $67,000 right now. This was the high that Bitcoin set. If we look at the OHLC and specifically set our attention on the high, we can see that Bitcoin topped out literally $1 shy of $67,000 on this chart right now, which is absolutely fantastic. And to me, that indicates that this was a little bit of resistance right here. And if we look at this perhaps on the 1 minute time frame, you can get a slightly clearer image of this, where we have now set a high at 67 and a slightly lower high at 66.8, potentially entering. I mean, you know, this can turn into any number of patterns right now. This can be a symmetrical triangle, this can be a sideways trading range, this can be a falling wedge. You know, there's a lot of different patterns this can be, but it most likely is going to be a bullish one. And the reason that I think this is cool is that because we found a little bit of resistance here, if we do rise above, this can turn into an area that flips and turns into support. And to me, that is absolutely great. That is definitely something that I would want to keep an eye on in this market, guys. If we can please keep spam to a minimum. I will start blocking people if we forget about that again. Let me make sure that I put this live stream chat on slow mode so that people can't spam it. You writing your message once is enough, so please don't spam. Let me just make sure I put this live stream on slow mode so that we can't abuse the chat. Because guys, the thing is when you spam, I can't see other people's comments, and you're ruining it for everybody, because I'm definitely not going to answer you if you're spamming, but it also means that I won't be answering the other people who aren't doing anything wrong. So please do work with me here, and make sure that we give everyone a fair chance, because I do try to answer absolutely everybody, you know, unless you're asking something absolutely ridiculous. I do answer almost every single question in every live stream. But for some reason I can't find where. Oh, here it is. Slow mode. Done. Perfect. There we go. There we go. Perfect. So let's bring this back up now. I will start going through your questions in just a minute. I see that they have been coming in. Thank you very much. I also see that some of you have asked about VIP. So definitely do follow these steps on screen if you want to get in on that action. We are outperforming the market right now, which is absolutely great. And oh, one key thing that I really want to draw your attention to is actually a pattern that Bitcoin was in before. Now, I'm getting a lot of people asking me for price targets, but the realistic answer for you guys is that I just don't know. There's not really any way that you can draw price targets, that you can come to price targets with this market right now, because we're in price discovery mode, and that means we've never been at these price levels before. There are ways where you can draw Fibonacci extensions, but I don't know how to use them, and I also don't think that they're very reliable. But beyond that, it's literally just psychological numbers that are round, you know, which are a little bit polarizing, like 50,000, but we've already crossed that, or 70,000, or 75, or 80, or 85, and so on. These are the kind of round numbers that people might start looking to sell their Bitcoin at, and perhaps other people would want to front run those sellers. And so, you know, when you would say that 75 is a round psychological number, you'll get some people who start selling at 73.5 purely because they anticipate that there will be more sellers at 75. So, you know, that's how you can kind of start to gauge where the price might top out at if it continues trading up. But one of the other ways that we can actually try and get an idea of this is if I actually draw a you know, rising wedge on Bitcoin, which is going to look something a little bit like this, and it just illustrates for us how. And I don't know if I'm drawing this correctly, so bear with me, because I mean, it doesn't really matter if I draw it correctly or not at the end of the day, but this was a pattern that just looks largely something a little bit like this, indicating that Bitcoin was you know, kind of slowly trending upwards before now popping to the upside. And this is generally not a bullish sign in the market. This is generally something which a lot of people will become quite concerned about and think that the market is going to top out and then actually trade a lot lower in a big, very, very nasty crash. And we've done that before with these kind of you know, patterns in this market before. It's not a perfect example, but we've done this before here where look, we were kind of slowly trending up and then bam, we fell right through it. But for Bitcoin generally, this is one of the most bullish patterns that we can be painting. This is just one of those circumstances where this is something that is inherently generally very, very bearish, but for Bitcoin, for some reason, it's actually a phenomenal thing to be seeing in the market. So this definitely indicates that Bitcoin has a good amount of strength to pop very hard. There isn't really any way that I can realistically, responsibly draw an extrapolation for you here to show you how high this can go. I wish I could, but there's just really no sensible way to show you what that might look like, other than me saying that, look, I mean, you know, I mean, this rising wedge, I mean, we can draw it for like, you know, it went up by like 25%. So is it realistic that we pump, you know, 12%, half of that after we rise above this rising wedge? Yeah, I think that's fairly realistic. So, you know, rising up by 12% does put us bam right there at $74,000. But this is not a very real technical analysis, you know, piece right here that I've just presented. So I can't put too much backing behind that analysis right there, unfortunately. Wish I could, but unfortunately I couldn't. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. Bear with me while I'm just I also want to show you an example where actually this went wrong for Bitcoin, just to show you that, I mean, look, this is an inherently bearish pattern. Usually Bitcoin will use it in a bullish way, but not every single time. So here is an example where it actually went wrong for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was trading in a very nice rising wedge right here, which would have indicated that we were going to continue trading upwards, but we didn't end up doing that, and we actually fell right through it. And not only did we fall through this falling wedge, we also came back up to test it for a kiss of death, and then we continued trading lower a little bit like this, and we can see that if we replay the chart right there. So there's the kiss of death, and then we start trending back up. We set a new high, a final high, and then we end up really crashing down for good for a long time. So there you go. You can see how we're following these arrows pretty damn perfectly right here. And that is definitely a very, very clear illustration of what can happen when we're trading in patterns like this. Is you know, the reason that this is generally a bearish pattern is that it's essentially a sign that the market was moving up with a lot of strength before, and now it's moving up slower, which is a sign that we had a lot of momentum here. We have less momentum here, which means we're losing momentum, which is an indication that momentum can continue to be lost, and then we enter a free fall. And this, in this case, is exactly what happened. But generally, Bitcoin does much more bullish things with the price when it forms those kind of patterns. But that's just an example of one time where it went wrong. So definitely do keep that in mind, where we are not immune from doing things like that. Now, one other thing I want to show you guys, which actually another viewer has pointed out, is that not only Bitcoin but also Ethereum, and I'll show you Bitcoin first, is in a cup and handle formation, and actually Bitcoin has fully played it out, which makes this even more impressive for Ethereum. But let me just show you what this is real quick. This is where Bitcoin essentially forms a rounded bottom that looks a little bit like this, that forms a cup, and then we form the handle right here, and as soon as we get the breakout above this cup's neckline, which is actually over here, so this isn't even a real cup and handle, but that's completely fine. The whole idea, and I'll break down for you what this pattern looks like as well in just a minute, but the whole idea is as soon as we get this break above the top of the handle, you know, we can really start exploding upwards very, very nicely, and you can even perhaps measure the whole length of this rally and use that as your target for where the price is going to go. And this is, again, very, very unscientific, but yet again, it actually points to $75,000. So even though we are using very unscientific, very unreasonably, you know, almost ridiculous forms of technical analysis here, and that's what it is at the end of the day. There is just no good TA you can do now to judge where the price is going to go. I mean, the only real plays are what I've described earlier on this live stream, which you can actually rewind the live stream for it to catch, because it was really, really important. So if you are just tuning in now, you need to rewind and go watch all of that stuff. And by the way, if you are finding this useful so far, I gotta ask for it again. If we can't smash up those likes, it is very, very helpful to me and of course to you guys, because I'll keep on bringing you guys this amazing content. But this beautiful cup and handle right here playing very nicely for Bitcoin, potentially indicating that, well, it doesn't indicate anymore, it's been done, that we ended up getting this breakout. But this hasn't happened on Ethereum yet, and that's where things are very exciting, where Ethereum has exactly the same pattern as what I've just shown you with Bitcoin, but it's a few steps behind. Ethereum ended up forming this very same kind of general rounded bottom cup and handle kind of formation right here, and we are now, and this actually is a better one than Bitcoin, and we're about to break above that right now. So if we do manage to get that breakout, just rising, I mean, we've already broken above it actually. If we look at this, the high that Ethereum set before was right here, and you can see, if you look quite closely, you can see that Ethereum has now actually broken above this previous area of resistance. So we've already broken above this cup and handle formation right now, but it does indicate to me that this could get ready to run really, really nicely. It just has a so much better argument for rising up than Bitcoin, in my opinion. It's definitely the coin that I'm much more bullish on, and I'm very bullish on Bitcoin at the minute, but I'm definitely far more excited for Ethereum, given that it's a smaller market and it's actually forming a much nicer cup and handle pattern. So this is definitely something to keep in mind, where we have now basically seen this move very, very nicely. And I want to dial up the intensity of this YouTube live stream right here and really explain to you guys why these cup and handles tend to play out. So again, this is a little bit more of the advanced style of analysis that you guys know I love to give to you guys. I try to deliver it in relatively simple ways. But if you do get a little bit confused here, then please don't hesitate to drop me a question in this live chat, and I will answer your question about it. Of course, that's what this channel is all about. So thank you all for showing your support by smashing up those likes and subscribing as well. But the reason that we're seeing this kind of price action when we form these cup and handle patterns, and then when we get the breakouts, the reason we get such strong breakouts from these kind of patterns, sometimes, not all the time, is that we've set a high right here, and then we've challenged the high once, and we've challenged the high again. And it's just generally when we challenge a high multiple times, it'll generally get weaker the more we test it, and especially if we've been testing it after a long time, right? So Ethereum set this all-time high right here in May of 2021, which was this year. It then took 114 days to reach close to this level again, and it then took a further 47 days to reach to this level again. So it's been quite a while, and all of that time with the big nasty corrections that happened in between. I mean, and these were big corrections. I think it got hit harder than Bitcoin. If we measure this from the top to the bottom, this is down by minus 60%. And if we measure this is down by minus 35%. So definitely a very clear image right here where these markets can get hit very hard when Bitcoin and the like really start to, I'm sorry, what am I talking about? When we start to enter corrections. But of course, all of that is really just going to give us that rocket fuel to break higher. And the key thing here is when we break this handle resistance right here, this handle right here, this is where we are no longer setting a pattern of lower highs, right? The high over here is at the all-time high, which is 4,400. The second high is only at $4,000, but we're now above that, so we're not setting lower highs anymore, which is a very key example of how this market has turned markedly more bullish than before, because we're able to put in newer highs, essentially telling us that previously when the price traveled up to this level, bulls were not willing to pay more than $4,000 for Ethereum, but this time they are. And so that is also just generally, when we really zoom in and we take a look at the chart just in this context, this is essentially going to be telling traders and analysts right here that the market is more bullish now than it was before. And so on a slightly more micro scale, this starts looking very appealing. And then obviously when we zoom out, we can see that this micro pattern plays its part in a larger macro pattern. So it's very nice and poetic how this analysis does tend to all tie in very nicely and neatly together with a nice cute little bow on top as well, definitely indicating that we are in a nice place right here. So I don't know if that made a whole lot of sense to you guys, but I certainly hope it did. It does look very nice in that sense. I am ready to start going through your questions, and then I will carry on covering some of these altcoins. But for those of you who don't already know about it, before I continue, you do need to sign up to Bybit if you are looking to get a little bit of free cash deposited into your account and trade on the same exchange that I'm using. Obviously, there's many alternatives and you can just Google it, but this has definitely been the single best option for me for a long time. I've been working with these guys for years and absolutely love them. They trade every market under the sun that has any relevance. If it's not on Bybit, it's probably too dangerous and you shouldn't even be trading it, just in my opinion. But obviously, I'm not your father. I can't tell you what to do. But this is just what I'm seeing right here with Bybit, and I do absolutely love it. And again, the key thing here is even if you don't plan on using it, you can sign up and make a deposit. And as soon as you make your deposit, you're going to get some extra cash for free credited into your account. And if I'm not mistaken, that does go up to $600. So definitely a great bonus to be getting just for making your deposit, and then you can withdraw your funds and you can just get right back to your own business and just forget about it if you don't want to use it. But it is great. You can buy spot, which means you can buy Bitcoin just normally against the dollar, or you can trade it with leverage, which is what I do. And if you want to know about that, I've also got a tutorial down below, and in my opinion, it is the best way to make money. This is the way you can really outperform the market, the way, for example, this VIP member did right here with a 160% profit. That's how we're able to pull really, really nice results inside of the VIP group a lot of the time. So that does definitely have a lot of usage to it. But I want to continue going through your questions right now. Can I run down each of my courses and Telegram? I don't really understand what you mean by that. But the key thing for the course is it teaches you everything I know about trading and analyzing and managing psychology from A to Z. So it does start off quite simple, and this is so that anybody who's never even traded before can pick up this course and know everything by the end of it. But it ends on extremely complex notes, and the way I'm teaching it, you're going to understand absolutely every step throughout this course. And it has definitely by far been the most wildly successful thing I've ever done in my life, hands down. Is making this course and making it absolutely bulletproof, where we have turned people who've never traded before into very competent, healthy, consistent traders in these markets. And then of course you're piling that side by side with just seeing how I'm trading. So not only are you learning how I'm doing what I'm doing, you're also watching me do it right in front of you in this real market right now, where I am in some really nice profits on all of my positions right now, which is absolutely phenomenal. So very, very cool stuff there. Again, all of the steps to join, it's only 3 quick clicks, are on screen right now. Let's see what else we have here. You can pause the live stream and come right back. Someone is saying 69k looking like a resistance level on Bitcoin. I'm not sure how you arrived at that conclusion, but yeah, generally these markets are obviously quite immature because it's crypto, right? So, finding resistance at $69,000 would make a lot of sense, and even better, finding resistance at $69,420 would make perfect sense in this market, and that is definitely a place to look to take some profits on Bitcoin, in my opinion. It would make a lot of sense, just given how immature people are in these markets, which is obviously one of the things that makes it very fun. Someone's asking about Luna. I'm not going to go through random altcoins just yet. I will do it later on. I will go through all of your suggestions, but for now I'd like to keep this on topic. We are in price discovery. So there's no resistance. Absolutely yes. Hey mate from Australia, love your work. Thank you very much, Joseph. Glad you like it. What's a good trailing stop ratio like in general for this run? I would like to go through questions like that later on. And I also don't know, because I don't even use trailing stop losses. I just move them manually myself. And pretty much the way I do it is every time we break an area of resistance, I would raise my stop loss to just below that, that resistance as new support, basically. What's my thoughts on Solana? Again, I'll cover that later on. Is it possible we could hit 70k? Yes, absolutely. I think it's possible. Short-term fib levels reliable? No, not right now. Fibonacci levels are only reliable when we top out, in my opinion, and we haven't topped out yet. When and at what level do I expect a correction? Yeah, I've already covered that a lot, so if you don't know the answer to that yet, then please rewind the live stream. Someone is saying don't type in capitals, he'll ban you, he's a communist. Oh my god, I'm the furthest thing from a communist. I'm literally a crypto trader. This is like, we're all the furthest thing from communists. Almost every time all-time high was broken in the last rally, the price almost doubles. Absolutely, Joe, that is the key reason that you've seen the thumbnail on this live stream as $130,000, because, guys, something that some of you may or may not know already, is that in market cycles like this, when we do break the all-time high, we generally double the previous all-time high after breaking it, and doubling $65,000 would put us at 130. So that's where my next target is for this market. Obviously, we're probably going to exceed that because we generally also exceed double of the previous all-time high. I've actually never really seen an exception to this when we're in a market situation like right now. And bam, look at that, just behind me, by the way, the fountains here in Dubai have now started to go off. This happens every half an hour, every 30 minutes, and they're playing a little bit of music, which is pretty damn cool. So yeah, I definitely have the coolest office of all the YouTubers. I'm very happy with that. Let's see what else we have here in the comments. Just want to continue going through your questions before I carry on with this altcoin analysis. Of course, you guys know the deal. If you are enjoying this live stream so far, let's pump those likes up. Let's bring it back to the chat and also minimize my camera. What are my thoughts on XRP? I'll go through that in just a minute as well. Bitstamp is offline, really? Damn, okay. All right, well, let's start going through the altcoins then, because that is all of the questions. Yeah, so the first, let's just go with XRP. Somebody asked about XRP. XRP has, it's trading in the middle of a very, very big bull flag. I would expect it to rise all the way up to $1.20, which was its high right here. If we look at this on the 1 hour time frame, makes a little bit more sense what I'm saying, where XRP set this high right here at $1.20, just above actually $1.23.24. I would be expecting it to rise back up there, but beyond that, it's hard to say right now. Am I in the Burj Khalifa? Yes, I am. But yes, I definitely think that that XRP is looking okay. I mean, it doesn't have a great chart. It's not very clean. It's still facing a bit of resistance. This is not my first pick right now. It's definitely not one of the nicer looking coins right now. And the thing is there's so many nicer looking coins right now in terms of their price setup. It doesn't mean XRP isn't going to go really nicely. And when it starts moving, it can really just do ridiculous things. You know, but it can also do those ridiculous things to the downside, and a lot of people just don't like to keep that in mind. So that's why I'm here to remind you guys about those things as well. But yeah, that's XRP for me. Cardano is just looking so absolutely stunningly great right now. I mean, it is really moving in such beautiful ways. Let me pull this chart up for you guys on top of the Mustang GT that I was talking to you guys about in the previous live stream. And here is my beautiful chart of Cardano that we've been sharing inside of Four Flies VIP. I am now in a very nice profit on Cardano after this nice move to the upside over the past 24 hours. It does now look very, very nice. We are just flirting with the edge of resistance right now, and I can draw that resistance for you guys right now on this chart, and it looks something, let me just make sure I draw this correctly. Hang on. It does look something a little bit like this. And so this is where I'm seeing a little bit of resistance for Cardano just at the minute, potentially indicating that we could end up getting a rejection. But the thing is we're actually, you know, quite close towards the end of this pennant right now, right? Like, we're pretty much at the end of it. We don't generally trade all the way up to the end, and the end is called the apex. We will generally break out anywhere between, you know, 66% and 75% of the completion of this pennant, which is probably going to look something a little bit like this, you know, somewhere around here. So we should have already broken out, and to me that means we are basically trading on borrowed time right now. Someone's saying I live with Wiz Khalifa. I wish I lived with Wiz Khalifa, mate. That would be very, very cool. I can't say it. I thought of a very cool joke with a very corny joke actually with regards to how tall the Burj Khalifa is. But anyway, you know, we do have some resistance right here on Cardano, potentially indicating that we can end up dropping a little bit. But for the moment, we have found support. We are now challenging resistance. We're doing this inside of a bull market. This is the thing, guys, is we're in a bull market. Bitcoin has just cleared the all-time high. Ethereum is blowing up as well. You know, are we really in a position? Look at this, Ethereum's up by 5%, Bitcoin up by 4%, right? So Ethereum definitely performing about 25% better than Bitcoin is at the minute. When we're in a market situation like this right now, does it make sense that this thing gets rejected and just falls through the floor, or does it make more sense that we pump up? And I definitely know what my answer to that question is. If we take a look at where some of the resistance was on this chart, we did have some 1 hour resistance right here, which rejected Cardano twice. We've now broken that resistance and just pumped right through it. And this is an amazing pump right here. It's actually a little bit too much, so perhaps a little bit of a correction right now would make some sense, because for 5 hours straight, pretty much, we were pumping quite nicely. We only went up by 5%, which isn't actually a lot for Cardano. You know, it can definitely do a lot more than this, but it is definitely still something to keep in mind. And it's also broken its 100-hour moving average right here, which was, I'm sorry, 200-hour moving average, which was something that was a little bit concerning to me. You know, I was a little bit concerned that Cardano can find resistance right here, but it has managed to break above this. On the 4-hour time frame, we have a little bit of spotty resistance right here. Really, this isn't really much, in my opinion, at all. It's not really anything to keep in mind for me. It is resistance technically, but it's just too small to be relevant, and at that, it's completely closed up right now where we're trading, so we shouldn't be facing this resistance either, which is basically another way of saying that I think right now Cardano has a great window to get a massive breakout anywhere between now and, well, let's just measure this, anywhere between now and the next 48 hours is when I'd be expecting a big move on Cardano to the upside. If it doesn't happen within the next 48 hours, well, then you can see that this Ichimoku cloud resistance actually lines up with the rest of my pennant right here. If for some reason we don't get that breakout, I'd probably expect Cardano to crash, because really this is a massively bullish opportunity, and if a coin cannot take this kind of opportunity, it's probably not going to take any opportunity. So to me, that would be very, very bearish. In terms of momentum, let's take a look at this. There's no story that the 4 hours telling me. The daily also isn't really telling me a story. If anything, it is resistance, but there's no spread on this ribbon, so this isn't something I can take into account, and that is something you would know if you've watched my video on EMA ribbons. So again, if you haven't already, then just go ahead and type this into the YouTube search bar exactly as I've typed it on screen. Type this into the YouTube search bar and you can watch my video about how to get and use that indicator. It is a different picture when we look at coins like Ethereum though. On the daily time frame, we have some really nice support if Ethereum manages to drop. I don't think it will, but it's definitely possible. You know, same for Bitcoin. I don't think it is going to drop now, but if it does, it has a lot of support in that $50,000 range now from all sorts of different indicators. The 1-day moving average ribbon, EMA ribbon, looking absolutely phenomenal at these price levels, but even the Ichimoku cloud now stretching up to this level towards late November. 4-hour Ichimoku cloud giving us a lot of support, actually stretching into the $60,000 range now, really just showing us that, you know, things can get bad for Bitcoin and it's still going to have a lot of support, which to me is obviously a very, very exciting place to be for this market. So that is absolutely great as well. Guys, as we're going on, please do smash up those likes. You already know the deal. I do love bringing these live streams to you. We are now nearly 1 hour in, so I will start taking some more of your suggestions for these coins. But as we are going along, if you're finding this useful and entertaining and interesting, then please do smash them up, just so we can get back in the algorithm, because we have changed the name of the YouTube channel, and unfortunately that means that people just aren't really being notified about these live streams anymore. So it's going to take a lot of upward hill fighting for me to to recover, you know, just people knowing that this channel exists, basically, because a lot of people don't know my real name. They just know me by Forflies, but they're going to be reading Sammy Loyal and thinking, who the fuck is this guy? So we can help alleviate some of that just by engaging with the video. It does help a lot, so thank you all very much for that. Obviously, I know it's you know, it is going to take a little bit of effort, but hopefully it's not too much. Forfly is not a question, just a comment. I haven't been around lately, but I noticed a new microphone in the last streams. I love the audio. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. Yes, it is a new microphone, and it is absolutely phenomenal. I love this microphone. Very, very cool. Sounds very realistic, as though I'm right next to your ear as well, so that is pretty nice. Getting some more requests for Litecoin. I already looked at Litecoin yesterday and I didn't find anything interesting. Someone's just saying I can't find this video on YouTube. Let me check it out. Hang on. If you can't find it, that is a problem. Yeah, right here. This is the video. It shouldn't have been renamed. That's a mistake. Let me just fix that. Someone's saying, who is Sammy Loyal? That's me. That's who I am. That's my real name. Four Sides is just a name that I used to go by on YouTube, but I hate that name, so I changed it to this, and now people don't know who I am. So it does present a little bit of a problem. You present realistic, unbiased analyses. I have big respect for you for that. Thank you very much. I'm glad you do. I'm very glad you do. Best ASMR from Sammy makes me sleepy in a good way. I get that a lot. A lot of people sleep to my voice. It is really weird. Sammy is part of the Illuminati. He's part of Crypto Da Vinci. Well, if I am, I don't know about it, but I guess that's how it works, right? Oh, we are just challenging 67,000 right now. So this is great. Yeah, we're just up there right now. Very, very close to challenging it, which is pretty cool. So hopefully we can get a breakout on the live stream. That would be very fun. That would definitely be very fun. Got quite a few requests to check out Luna last night, so I'd like to actually first let's take a look at Litecoin, because I was going through that first. Litecoin has seen a nice move as well, following on from Bitcoin. It's up by 7.8%, so it's actually outperforming Bitcoin. So Litecoin's finally getting it up. That's absolutely great. Let's see how this looks. Well, it's cleared a lot of resistance. Does it still have resistance though? That is the question. Because the thing is Litecoin's all-time high was a lot higher than where it is right now, right? Like Litecoin right now is trading at $200, but its all-time high was above $400, which was a big price difference. The thing is on this chart, I think it's pretty much cleared all of its resistance. If we compare it to what happened before, it's also pretty much cleared all of its resistance. So it shouldn't have a hard time rising up, but generally it does. So I don't really have thoughts on this, unfortunately. Someone's asking which mic this is. This is the Shure SM7B, a very, very popular mic. I've actually wanted it for many years, but I haven't actually. Previously, I wasn't able to afford it back when I was younger, and then when I could afford it, I didn't want to get like what do you call it, like a preamp and stuff like that. I just thought it was too complex. It's actually not complex at all. But yeah, so Litecoin not looking particularly interesting to me, unfortunately, but it is up very nicely, so that is cool. Let's take a look at Luna. I've never looked at this coin before, but had a few requests for it. Again, guys, a lot of the time you ask me for analysis on these coins, but there's just really no analysis I can give you. I am seeing a little bit of resistance for Luna, kind of stretching around this exact price level right now. You can see that we were interacting with this area before. Right here, we were finding resistance and more resistance and more resistance, and then support, and then more resistance, and we're in resistance right now. But I think that if Luna can manage to rise above $41, it's probably going to fly quite nicely back towards that all-time high at $50. However, if we get rejected right here, I would be looking at finding support around $34 and then even potentially lower. So that's what I'm seeing right here. Let's see what other requests we have. We're getting some requests for Polkadot. Let's take a look at this. This is close to its all-time high by the looks of it. Again, not really a chart that I can analyze, to be honest. This is the thing. This is what makes it tricky. There's just really not much analysis I can do right here, other than saying that it is very, very close to its all-time high right now. And so we could be looking at big, explosive price discovery, price action happening relatively soon if we manage to break that all-time high at about $50. But we're not quite there yet. So again, I don't know what more I could say about a coin like this, to be honest, because it's just moving in its own way, to be honest. And it hasn't even breached its all-time high. I don't want to spend too much time on altcoins. I'll probably just go right back to your questions, because this is a little bit. Cardano is just above $2. That's pretty cool. It actually set a nice high today. Look at the OHLC. It managed to set a high of $2.26, which it hasn't been at this price level for a while. I mean, only 4 days, but that now means it's broken out of the pennant, which is great. Now, breaking out of the pennant doesn't actually mean a lot because we've had a lot of fake outs already, but it is definitely something that's still nice to see right here in this market. Sammy, is it best to wait and see when to get into the market, or should I hop in now? Oh man, I'm not your financial advisor, dude. I can't tell you what to do. If you can't gather an answer to that question on your own just from watching this video, then you probably shouldn't be trading anything, to be honest. You just don't, you need to be more decisive than that, dude, really. Yeah, I'm not going to take any more altcoin requests. I'm not really enjoying looking at these altcoins. Most of these requests, you're just asking me to analyze stuff that you can't even analyze. Like, there's just nothing on the chart. So I don't really know what you guys wanted me to say, to be honest. I thought you never traded shitcoins. What you thought wrong, Farhan? I trade shitcoins regularly. I like to, this is the thing, is I will actively call these things shitcoins. Well, there's just one guy in the comments constantly saying I can't afford a Lambo. Like, what is the point, really? Like, it's just such a weird comment. But this is the thing, dude, is I don't like these shit coins, but I definitely trade them to make money off them, 100%. You know, I mean, I'm here to make money. At the end of the day, I'm not going to let my ego get me, you know, off track from that. Obviously, it does happen sometimes, but generally, I'm only really interested, well, not generally, I'm only really interested in that. At what price should I take profit? I can't advise you on that. My God, I mean, you're just asking for straight up financial advice, mate. You sell when you want to sell. Doesn't matter when you bought. I mean, you say you bought at 6 cents, but you know the answer wouldn't change if you bought at 6 cents or $6,000. It's still the same. You just sell whenever you're comfortable with the profits, to be honest. Yeah, do you know what, guys? I am going to take a couple final questions and then head off. It seems like we are having issues with the channel again, so maybe I'll do another live stream later on today. Like I said, I am going to be at Chris's party, so that's going to be pretty nice. Ethereum is starting to take off. Someone's just mentioned this, which is pretty nice. So it is nearing that all-time high. We're only $300 away from that all-time high level right now, which is pretty damn cool. Yeah, look at that. Just getting close to it right now. So yeah, I mean, this thing doesn't have resistance anymore. It should be able to rise very nicely up to that all-time high. These things are generally going to happen when Bitcoin trades sideways, which is exactly what Bitcoin is doing right now. If we look at this, you know, for example, in the 5-minute time frame, it is basically in a little bit of a sideways trading range right now, so it's no surprise that Ethereum is taking this opportunity to really start moving to the upsides. And you can tell this very clearly why, when we, you know, recently have been trending upwards with Ethereum, Bitcoin instead has recently been trading sideways. So that really tells us a little bit about how people are kind of spreading their money from Bitcoin out into the rest of the market, which is why I'm so bullish on coins like Ethereum compared to coins like Bitcoin. Sammy, call out the goons. Too many in this market at the moment. No idea. I'm not sure what you mean, to be honest. I always do call out people who are exhibiting poor decision-making skills and stuff like that. That's what I do. But just at the minute, you know, I mean, it really is a time to be with the bulls at the minute, the way I'm seeing it. I mean, we've broken all the resistance. I mean, the only thing I could have said is we should have had more corrections on this way up, you know, on this leg up, but we have now broken the all-time high, so that just doesn't matter. And this is just one of those occasions where, yes, we should have had it, but we didn't get it. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to let that stop me from making money, which is why I'm already in very nice profits on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. And these are 3 trades which I've told VIPs about recently. I was telling you guys I would be making those trades. I'm sorry, that I would be sharing those trades with VIP members that I told you guys I would be trading relatively soon. Those trades have all opened very, very nicely now and are running in nice profits at the minute. So those of you who are in VIP, you'll know a lot about that, and I will tell you more about it as that goes on. For those of you who are in VIP, I'll tell you how I'm continuing to, you know, take profits and move my stop losses and stuff like that as well. Someone's asking for my thoughts on comp. Haven't heard of comp, but I'll take a look at it. This looks like a shitcoin that you bought years ago or months ago, and now you're just wondering what's going to happen. It's in an absolutely terrible place. It's trending down. It's now trading sideways, potentially moving down again. It's actually a similar setup to Cardano, but because of this ridiculous all-time high that it's set at $900, and now it's trading at $300, I just think this looks like a waste of time, to be honest. Wish I could tell you something bullish. I know you wanted to hear something bullish from me, but I just can't. It's just not looking particularly interesting to me at the minute. Actually, the pattern it's in right now, it is inherently a little bit more neutral. Actually, it's bearish because it's happening in a bearish trend, but it could definitely be a bullish thing. That's what I've been saying about Cardano. So, maybe that's going to be interesting. Sam, I'm selling my soul for 1 Ethereum. Want to buy? Mate, I've never bought a soul before, but for 1 Ethereum, that sounds like it could be a pretty good deal. I'm not sure what it's like to buy somebody's soul. Maybe I should go ask one of the politicians in England. Sammy is one of my favorites. Thank you very much. Say hi to Da Vinci and Moon. Be safe. Of course I will do. Thank you very much. I will tell them disorderly deplorable says hi. Hopefully I remember that name. Alright guys, yeah, I probably am going to call it a stream there. So thank you all very much for tuning in. If you do have any final questions, I'd like to go through them now. But for those of you who haven't already done so, bam, Bybit is waiting for you. Not the first link, but one of the links in the description down below to sign up are going to take you to my referral link, where when you sign up and make your first deposit using that link, you're going to get some free cash. You can use that free cash to trade in this market, and you can turn it into big sums if you trade well. Of course, you can lose it all, and it wouldn't matter because it's free money. It's not even money that you had to work for. So very, very cool stuff there. If you want to gain access to that money, all you have to do is sign up using my link and make your first deposit. And if you want to see how I'm trading, just like many of you guys have already reached out during this live stream, then you can click the first link in the description down below now, and then click on my name at 4flies at the bottom of any post inside of 4flies Gold, and then click on send message to ask me how to join, and I'll send you all the information about what's going on behind 4flies VIP users closed doors. We're in really nice profits right now. We've been teaching people how to trade from start to finish absolutely beautifully throughout this beautiful program right here, and seeing some nice profits. This one is not recent. This is from somebody who sent this message a little while back, but nonetheless making an absolutely insane 160% profit. I mean, this alone can be life-changing, and we're seeing these results coming from people who've been inside of VIP and really learned how to trade in safe, consistent ways. Being able to pull, a lot of the time, just generally nice, respectable profits, 20-30%, but we're also seeing people like this, who are just absolutely killing it. I mean, really just destroying it in these markets as well. You have to imagine that this person has effectively more than doubled his Bitcoin holdings, and of course, having more than double your Bitcoin holdings when Bitcoin has just hit a new all-time high is going to make you very, very rich. So that's always been my strategy, is just to make more Bitcoin and then let Bitcoin make me more dollars. And to me, that is absolutely great. So yeah, there we go. That's me right there. These steps are on screen, and I will call it a stream there. Like I said, I might come back later today. If not, perhaps we'll make a YouTube video. Maybe you'll see a collab with me and some other YouTubers as well. It's really all up in the air, but for now, that party with Chris and Mo is about to begin. So actually, it probably already has begun. So I'll probably go head over there now. All right, guys, you take it easy, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.